Alright, this is the F-18 Super Hornet tutorial. The F-18 as designed by TriKDanG. I have special permission from him to do a folding tutorial, so let's get started. Right, the first thing you want to do is fold all the way, almost close actually, not all the way. So it would be about a quarter of an inch. You just leave a quarter of an inch band at the end like that. Half of one of these squares is a quarter of an inch. And here we go. I'm going to be using a bone folder for this, so I can make it faster. So after you do the initial fold, you take a look at that. Then you fold it in half again. Try to make all your folds precise. And nail it down. Then we're going to stand one of these rectangles up, and then we're going to stick our finger in here all the way to the very tip, like it's an ice cream cone. And we're going to squash it down by pressing down on this spine here. And we're going to land the spine right on this line. And then we're going to crease on this side, and then on this side. We're going to flip it over. Stand this guy up now. Like that. Stick our finger all the way to the tip, and then press down on the spine again. Try to keep this layer and this layer tight together when you do, and line it up and crease. All right. Just like that. And then I'm going to seal the deal. All right, so notice that one side is bigger than the other. We're just going to close this, and we're going to leave it with the longer side on the back or underneath, because this is going to end up being the top of the plane. This is going to be the bottom. So we're going to flip it over to this side, and we're folding this edge to the center like that, and then I'm going to line it up and crease. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this small edge to this edge here, and it's going to be like an extension of it because it's going to go past. It should look like that. Make the crease. Then we're going to take this guy, and we're going to put I'm going to put my fingernail right about there, and we're going to bend this guy down. How far? Until this corner here. This edge, this raw edge, is going to be touching that corner, or a little bit more. Yeah, about there's good. Okay, and then I can crease all the way to this tip here. And here's where I do something different. I'm going to rotate it so I can see it better. I'm going to pull this guy back, and then I'm going to fold this raw edge to that crease I just made. Just making the leading edge of this small tail fin. This is the tail fin, by the way, we're working on. And then I'm going to fold it over like that. So if you look what I just did, I just basically folded this to the crease I just made, and then I'm rolling it up like that. We're going to do the same thing to the other side, so let's go to the other side. Okay, so now we're on this side. I'm going to fold this edge to center, just like I did on the other side. Okay. Crease. Take this short edge, folding it over to the line, so it's like an extension of it, because we're doing this tail fin now. Crease. Then we're going to put my fingernail here, just like I did it on the other side, and we're going to curl it over, and we're going to make this raw edge end at this corner here. Hope you guys can see this. Let me pull it closer to the camera after so you can see. All right, so we're going to unfold that last thing we just did. Take this raw edge, and now we're going to fold it to this crease, if you could see it well, that we just made. We just made this crease. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to roll this in, and it should make the leading edge of this fin stronger. So I'm going to pull it closer to the camera so you can see. Hopefully it's in focus. Small, roll it up, making this part of the wing stronger. The leading edge of the wing is always the strongest, and it's the best part to reinforce. We're adding a lot more weight to the front, pushing the center of gravity forward. All right, so now we're gonna turn it this way, and you're gonna see that this is gonna be our wings, our main wings. This is still the top of the plane, and this is still the bottom of the plane. So to do the main wings, I'm gonna turn it back this way again, and then I'm gonna pull back on this guy, revealing this part. I'm gonna hold my finger here, slightly pull it forward. So now Tree has made many of these planes, hundreds of them, and he found that the one that works the best is the one that has 1 1/4 inch. So this is 1 inch on my handy dandy mat here. This square, this is 1 inch right here, and half of this is 1/4 of an inch. So I want 1 inch and 1/4, so 1 1/4 inch. And now I need to make this length the same size as this length. So to make sure this is 1 1/4 inch, I'm gonna measure 2 squares and a half, 2.5 squares. So this is now guaranteed to be the same as that. Unless of course it moves while I'm folding it, but I'm just gonna crease on here now before I lose that measurement. Then I'm gonna turn it this way. And here's another cool thing we can do. Now I'm gonna fold this small edge here to the center, like this. I'm folding this small edge here, because this is gonna be obviously the nose of our jet. And I'm gonna undo this small triangle fold I've just made, and I'm gonna pull on this, the front part of our wing, the leading edge of our wing. And notice as I pull back on this guy swings forward. And I'm gonna let him swing forward, because I'm gonna stick my finger in here and try to make this wing smaller, because the F-18 has smaller wings than the other planes. The F-35 or the F-22. So anyway, I'm trying to fold this, the front part of this wing, because we're trying to make the leading edge stronger. I'm also keeping in mind that this guy's got to be about a half an inch. So I'm going to end this part right at the tip of this square here. So that's just a half an inch. Okay, half of an inch. And now I pinch crease there, pinch crease here. Now I can pull this, roll this a little bit to the center until I can connect that and that measurement. So now I'm going to rotate this guy around. I'm going to pull back, making a new crease on this, just so I can get to this part better. So this leading edge of the wing, I'm going to double in strength by making this edge to this line here, like that. And then I'm going to roll it in. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more crease, just because I like having sharp wings. I'm going to fold this raw edge to this second crease I made here, like that. This is totally unnecessary, but I just like doing it anyway. Anyway, let's go back on the crease we did earlier, and I'm going to roll in one more time. So take a look at that, rolling it in one more time. One wing is now done. Now I'm going to rotate this way, and I'm going to fold down on this line here that goes through. Fold down on it. This part's going to fight you the most because there's thicker layers over here. Okay, I'm trying to line it up with our center line of the plane. So this is the center line here. Okay, then I'm going to grab underneath this layer, and I'm going to fold it up over here. We're not making any new creases there. I'm just basically folding on existing ones. So now I'm actually gonna make this wing faster, because I've already got the measurements on that side, and we want our plane to be symmetrical. So I'm going to fold up on here, pull down on this layer until you see this layer here. I don't know if you can see that. This layer here is what I'm going to be folding back on, and I'm going to match it by measuring it to that other side. Okay, and now rotate it this way, taking this guy and folding him to center, just like I did on the other side. Because now we're going to make our wing stronger. So unfold that, put your finger right at the tip of this crease that we just made. I'm going to pull back on this guy, which it's going to go all the way down the wing to that part, no, about 1/2 inch right there. And we're going to pull down on this guy like that. See, this guy swings forward. Well, then I'm swing forward. I'm going to stick our finger in here, making it easier to fold. You might have a little space over between here and here, but that's normal. Okay, and just make sure it's folding well. And before you measure this thing, you want to make sure that it's folding at the right angle. So I'm going to rotate it this way just so I can measure a square. I'm going to end this crease at that point. I'm going to put a pinch crease on that. Then before I seal the crease, I'm going to roll it back just a little, because I know if I push down on it, it's going to have wrinkles. I'm going to make sure it's going to connect this, whatever crease is behind here, to that. So if I go from the center and I crease outwards, it should touch. Okay, now we're going to unfold this. I'm going to rotate it this way first so I can work with it better. I'm going to make a new crease on here, but that's irrelevant really. The main thing I'm looking for is to get this folded edge and fold it to this crease here. Oh, I just almost forgot. Maybe we should just make this sharper first. So I'm gonna take this raw edge and fold this guy to make a little fold like that. And then I can take this guy and fold it to that, what I said I was gonna do earlier. Okay, and I think I got it. Now I'm gonna roll in on that guy. And, oof. I guess I can't see too well because my head's not. I'm not really looking into this. I'm trying to make it so that you guys can see it better. Okay, so let's try and roll that again. Okay, that worked this time. Now I'm gonna double check to see if this is the same size as the other side, and it almost looks like it. We'll see if I am accurate. Fight this heavy part here. Yeah, and that's about as close as you're gonna get. I was correct in my estimation because I measured it the same as the other side. It's good when things, you know, come together well. Anyway, this is what we should have now. Here comes the part everybody fears. We're gonna flip over. Now these are hard because they're different from trees. Okay. I'm gonna start a crease. I'm gonna do a stabilizer starting from this, where this wing touches this part of the body. I'm going to take this corner and I'm gonna pull it up, putting my fingernail there and making a pinch crease like that. Then I'm gonna come down to this corner in the back and put a pinch crease there too. And then I'm gonna push up from the center, trying to connect these two pinch creases. So before I make my crease, I'm gonna make sure this lines up, and then I'm gonna crease across. And there we go. Now, if you can't see it on camera, there's a little flap here, this little raw edge here, and that's the part that I want to look at, because I'm going to put my finger at that part and I'm going to grab this wing and I'm going to make a new crease starting from here. I'm going to make a pinch crease there all the way to the same corner that we folded this wing to. So I'm going to make a new crease that runs from here to that corner. And it should look like that. Yeah, nailed it. All right. So same thing on the other side. Put my finger at the part where this layer touches the wing. Make a pinch crease on it, or at least a mark on it like that in the paper. Then I'm going to make another one at the very tip of this corner here. Push down there. Now I'm going to pull back on this guy and connect these two pinch creases together, being careful not to exceed my limit, because if I do, it's going to rip the paper. Then I'm going to take a look at this guy here, where this meets there. I'm going to pull back on it like that, making a new crease on this wing. That's going to make a new crease going from here to that corner. And you probably already knew what I was going to do because you saw me do it on the other side. Okay, go from the center, crease outwards, bang, done. So now we have to do the infamous, what they call a jet fold. And this one is kind of tough to do on this model because there's a lot of layers to deal with, especially in the center here. Now that I've made the wings stronger, now we have to deal with this knot that's going to form over here. Anyway, we're going to bend down to do the jet fold. I'm going to bend down on the tip right where this wing is to meet this wing in the center at that knot area. We're going to bend down on it, and then we're going to dent the back, put our fingers in the back. When you see when I do that, the nose is going to bend down even more. We want that to happen, almost like a puppet. It looks kind of like an origami penguin if you look at it close enough. But it's the same idea. We're going to push down on the back, bend, well, as we bend the nose down, it's going to turn like this. I'm going to turn this over to see what's going on underneath. Now I'm squeezing together on using my middle finger and my thumb. And I'm trying to squeeze this together, and at the same time I'm going to reach around with this hand and I'm going to squeeze this together to try and convince this part of the wings to bend downwards, because I'm trying to convince this model to sculpt, to mold into a more aesthetically pleasing and also aerodynamically. See this big knot right here? This big knot is we have to fight this thing, but it will eventually work. Okay, push down on here, making a more aesthetically pleasing look and aerodynamically enhanced shape. Okay, so I also want to keep in mind is I want to keep these corners the same because we want our wings to be symmetrical, and also the corners of the tail fins symmetrical. Because, you know, symmetry is good for all aircraft, including paper airplanes. Okay, so now that we've done that, it looks like it's good. I'm going to seal the deal on that crease. It's really tough layers, heavy layers we're working with here. Okay, so now that we have this droopy looking plane, we're going to make the wing crease now. So to make the wing crease, I'm going to start the crease from here, and it's going to travel up to this corner in the back. And to grab the wing, I'm going to take this layer, and the one in between it, which is the wing. Grab, if you could see it, 1, 2, and 3. I'm grabbing these 3 guys. I'm not grabbing the center. I'm just grabbing this. And I'm going to also grab this part of the tail fin in the back because my crease is going to end there. So I'm just going to bend up on it from here in the front, a little bit past this wing, halfway past the wing to the tip of the plane. And so the crease is right about there. I'm going to bend it up all the way to the back, keeping these layers pinched firmly in my hand so that we don't make a fold that we don't want. Boom, right to the back. Then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to try and match the wing again. I know this looks like a mess, but it'll look better at the end. Okay, so we're going to try and make sure that our crease that we're making is the same as the one in the front. So my crease starts there. So I'm going to make the same on this side. Then I'm going to grab all the way to the back fin. Grab the wing firmly in my hand so it doesn't get crooked. And my target goes from there to there. And also, more importantly, I'm going to make the wings match. This corner of the wing match. And try to make this corner of the wing match. And when both of them line up, then you can crease down. Like that. Got it. Got it. So when you open it up, it looks more like what we're trying to work with. But we're not quite there yet. You notice that this back is really long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push up on that. Up on this, and what you're gonna see is it's gonna have this rounded shape. You see that? I'm pushing up on this, and I'm pushing down on this, and it's making this curvature on the back, and it makes a cool body shape. This is also not really talked about much on Tree's tutorial, but since I folded hundreds of these, it started evolving after a point. I thought maybe it could level up, so to speak. All right, so we made these smaller now, which is good because when we put these up, they're going to be able to fly better. there's supposed to be like this channel that goes through here, this channel of air. Okay, so this, ideally this and this are supposed to be parallel, these lines here. To do that, we're going to put what's I call the Masaki Lock. We're going to lock this fuselage together because as it flies, it's going to open up a little bit. To get to this lock, I'm going to pull down on this wing to access this layer here. And then I'm going to take this layer, I'm going to squeeze it together. And then I'm going to bend it in, make a fold on it to help lock it together so it doesn't come unfolded in the air. To keep this lock, I'm going to lift this part of the wing up. Hopefully you could see this better. And I'm going to put it behind there. And then I'm going to re-establish the crease on it. Or establish a crease on it that was not there before. Okay, so now pinching that. And then I'm going to close this wing back up. Then I'm going to open this little V thing that's sticking out back here. You might be able to see that. I'm going to stick my finger in there where this crease I just made, this lock I just made. I'm going to add this lock by pushing it in and reverse inside folding it against this guy. I'm pushing it in so that it can hold to this lock better. So it's a lock on top of a lock, just to keep this thing going, you know, without tape. Or you could just skip the whole thing and just put a tape on the back. That's another option if you're, you know, into tape. But if you don't want to use tape, you don't need it. It's not required. So there you go. That's my addition to Tree's plane. And it does fly pretty well for what it is. Tree once said that the F-35 was a medium range plane, but I've got this to go pretty far, and the kids that I make this for at my school I work at really like this model. I mean, look at it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful model. Anyway, I'm done with the tutorial, and I want to make a special thanks to Tree for letting me use his design and show you how to make something that's really cool. So have a great time. Enjoy flying your plane.